sweet peas and sugar dumplings. Welcome to another episode of 40K Brunch Gossip with me, ShiningNathan, where I spill the piping hot tea on everything Warhammer 40K and our glorious Imperium. Now today's tea is poured and served with a big old slice and dollop of secrecy. I know that's because we're talking about our favorite zealous spy boys, the Inquisition. So, sit on down. I'm glad you came up to my spy, but this tea is hot. But don't be sharing any words out of class because they will come for me. Alright? Now, I'm being very serious when I tell you don't be telling tales out of school, okay? Because they will come knocking at our door if they find out, alright? Because if you don't know, the Inquisition is our secret police of our glorious Imperium of mankind. And they are only answerable to the High Lords of Terror, allegedly, and the Emperor himself. Okay, so everything they do is very secret squirrel stuff, all right? And they have a lot of power, a lot of sway. They can reroute entire fleets and armies with just an order, and everybody's terrified of them. You don't oppose an Inquisitor, all right? Now, their history is very secretive. It is still very much kind of all of it not known, obviously. But what is known or agreed upon by Imperium scholars is that they were founded shortly after the Horus Heresy. It makes sense. The Emperor ordered Malcador the Sigillite to, let me read this data slate here, to find a group of men and women of inquisitive nature to search out the enemies of the Imperium, whether they live within or without. Now, Malcador the Sigillite, blessed the Emperor, he was his right hand, appointed the first Inquisitors to root out traitors, heretics, and demonic corruption. You're not even supposed to be knowing about demonic corruption. We can talk about that another time. Now, unlike other Imperium institutions, the Inquisition again only answers to the Emperor or the High Lords of Terror, and they have the power to have exterminatus done to a planet. Now, they have evolved over the last 10,000 years, okay? And it has fractured into several different factions, different ordos. While some people think of them like a scalpel, other people think of them like doing private investigation squirrel stuff. Others think of some of them as like a blunt instrument. Now, they have a lot of say, but they still have to play petty politics, because you don't want to make one Inquisitor angry or make a certain general angry, or, exactly. Now, they're broken. Let me give you a little brief breakdown of the history. Now, right after the Horus Heresy, of course, they were created by Malcador the Sigillite under the orders of our illustrious Emperor. Now, during the age of apostasy, they were instrumental in rooting down corruption throughout the Imperium. They root and sniff and try to find corruption, whether it's heretical, whether it's political, whether it's just plain Jane heresy, speaking against the Emperor. They go out and find it. They usually have a retinue and that retinue is very dependent sometimes, whether they're a Puritan Inquisition. Yes, there's different kinds, right? Okay, so picture it right now. There are Puritan Inquisitors who follow a certain stricture of what can be used and who can be worked with, and then there are more radical Inquisitors who will use demonic tools, weapons, Xenos, to aid them in rooting out heresy. Now, during the Tyrannic War, there was an Inquisitor by the name of Cryptman. Now, I knew his name before this. I got this data slate. He was very instrumental in first finding the infestation of the Tyranids. And they're the flesh-eating, ever-consuming alien insect creatures. And they continue to go throughout the Imperium because there's different ordos. Okay, now I'm going to go into the orders majoris. Okay, this is going to be very important for you to understand. And remember, Puritan and, gosh darn it, radical. Now, they can also be in any of these ordos, just how they want to root out the forces of chaos, corruption, heresy, you name it, Xenos. Now, there's the Ordo Malleus. Now, these ones hunt chaos, corruption, and demons, and they oversee the Astartes chapter of the Grey Knights. And their primary mission, baby, is to destroy demons and police imperial institutions like the ecclesiarchy from chaos corruption. Now, a lot more of the Puritan are within the Ordo Malleus. Next is the Ordo Xenus. Now, they are the alien hunters of the Imperium, and they deal with the Tyranids, Necrons, Eldar, Orcs, and many other alien threats. And if I remember correctly, they have a Death Watch kill team. Very scary. And then there's the Ordo Hereticus. They're the witch hunters. They root out traitors, mutants, rogue psychers, heretics within humanity itself. Anybody that goes against our imperial creed. And they work closely with the Adeptus Sororitas. We just had a full conversation about them. You can go check that one out. But because the Adeptus Sororitas are so devout in their belief of the imperial creed. Now, there are several other smaller branches. I'll go into a little later, just a few of them, because I think I want to wet your whistle. But there are several famous inquisitors, like Gregor Eisenhorn was one of the most famous. His story is from loyal servant to radical who flirts with demonology to fight chaos. I would never, not from my spire. Now, there's also Inquisitor Cryptman, who I told you about him in another when we had to talk about the Tyranids. He has no qualms exterminating whole sectors to stop a Xenus incursion like he did with the Tyranids. He did something similar with the Orcs as well. Because you see, the power the Inquisitors have is so powerful. They can, like I said earlier, they can reroute a whole legions of Astartes. They can reroute fleets, and they have control over governors, planetary governors fear them. Because if there's an inquisitor snooping around, you better be listening. All right, you better hop too, because an inquisitor ain't no joke. Now, there's another one, Karmazov, another famous one. He is nicknamed the Witch Hunter. He's infamous for riding into battle on a giant walking throne with orbital bombardments at his command, and he would hunt psychers and witches all the time. There's other key things that I'm missing to tell you right now, but we can move on past the famous inquisitors and get on to they will do anything to get what they need. They'll do anything to reach their goal. And innocence proves nothing to the Inquisitors. Okay? Even if you are innocent, but you learn something you shouldn't have about Xenos, or, heaven forbid, Emperor Protect, chaos incursion, you're out. You're out. And there's many infighting with shadow wars happening between entire sects of Inquisitors with assassinations and things like that. Because again, there's the Puritans and the Radicals. Sometimes, a lot of the time, butt heads. Now, I told you that there are minor ordos, and they are three of them I'm going to tell you right now. There's the Ordo Sicarius. It was founded under the Inquisitor Geiger in the wake of the deadly events that occurred after the Reign of Blood and the Age of Apostasy. You see, this ordo manages and oversees the Officio Assassinorum. You were really not supposed to know about this, okay? The Officio Assassinorum is the house of many different types of assassins. There's like 5 different types of assassin. I can give Voltaire about that another time. But the thing with them is that assassination is only supposed to be deployed with the assassins via the majority approval of the High Lords of Terror. Well, obviously, that is not practical. So quite often, the Inquisitors of the Ordo Sicarius will sanction the Officio Assassinorum under the guise of an edict from Terra. That's some cojones on them. Now, there's another one called the Ordo Redactus. Now, this ordo focuses on deliberately obscuring the past and redacting any records whose knowledge they feel might lead to corruption of the minds of weak men and women. They also have so the lest the enemies of mankind discover. So yeah, they've done so much. I was trying to read from the data slate, didn't work out that way. My brain went elsewhere. But they are trying to make sure that certain records do not fall into other people's hands, and that the everyday imperial citizen does not know of certain things. And so they have, the Inquisitors of Ordos Redactus have discovered that the job has been made a great deal harder with the resurrection of Primarch Grubate Gielamin as the Lord Commander of the Imperium. Oh gosh, because the Primarch, I knew this, is dedicated to the truth and uncovering accurate chronological information of mankind's past since the end of the Horus Heresy. Yeah, there is a lot there that we just digested. Take a moment, because there's even an Ordo, I forgot the name of it, that is trying to research the Great Rift that has torn our glorious Imperium asunder. So this is the Inquisition. Their retinue can compose of many different people to get what they need to make sure their goal and their missions are complete. And so I hope you've enjoyed my telling and gossiping about them, but you better not be telling nobody, because I don't want an Inquisitor knocking at my door saying what I'm saying. Okay? So, hope you enjoyed this 40K Brunch Gossip. Tell me down in the comments what you want to see next, or who you want me to talk about next. This is so fun. And as always, thank you so much for coming up to my spire. If you enjoy my content, consider becoming a patron on my Patreon for as low as $3 to $5 a month. That is my primary income. Until next time, glory be to the Emperor and to his illustrious Imperium.